Hey everyone at Lighthouse, hope you're all doing really well. We're back again with a little check-in. This time we've got the lovely Emma Holt with us. And hello, hello. And yeah, so most people will probably know who you are, Emma. But how are you doing? What are you up to at the moment? What's life saying?
What's what?
What's life saying at the moment?
I'm doing good. I'm in Cambridge,
Lovely.
living with Seth in a cute little flat. We recently moved
During the pandemic.
during the pandemic. Well, it was kind of like post-pandemic. It was like in between, like just before the November lockdown.
Yeah.
We managed to move in. It was
Wow.
great. We were just carrying all our stuff across Cambridge because we didn't have a car.
Yeah,
So, like,
that must have been really hard as well, just trying to like transport it and not being allowed to transport with other people and all the rules. And
it was great when because it wasn't lockdown. There were people that were around with cars. So we just kind of kept sponging off other people's cars.
yeah.
And then we moved
Brilliant.
in. We were locked down. So
It was settled.
yeah, it's a really nice flat actually. It's a lot easier to clean
Nice.
than the house. You just plug the Hoover in and it does the whole house. So
Yeah.
that's
All well.
it's really close to town as well, which is handy.
Brilliant. Oh, that's so good. So what are you up to at the moment? Obviously with lockdown and everything, things are a bit up in the air for everyone, aren't they? What's going on for you?
So I've been working in a coffee shop in Cambridge
Nice.
for the last year.
Nice.
Which has been fine, but obviously with the pandemic, it's actually been quite stressful at times because whenever it's sunny, especially in the November lockdown, no one was locked down. So when it was sunny, we had crowds of people, and obviously we're in a pandemic. So I was a bit not loving how many people there are right now. Anyway, so it was it had its ups and downs. But a couple of weeks ago, I decided to hand my notice in. So I'm leaving that job, and I don't know what I'm going to. So
that's exciting, though.
It is exciting. I mean, I was excited about it, and then as I started telling people and talking about it, everyone was like, "Ooh."
It becomes more real, then, doesn't it?
No, but I think it's gonna be fine.
Oh, that's so cool. I have loads of respect for people working in coffee shops and stuff like that during the pandemic. Let alone, I know they're really stressful environments at times in the city as well. But just having to, let alone just making the coffee and everything and managing all that stuff, but also having to do all the masks on, sanitizing and social distancing and everything. It must have been quite stressful.
Yeah, it's a lot. But
yeah,
we made it through, and hardly any of us got it. So I don't know how we managed that, but
you stayed away from the virus.
Yeah, so we're
well done.
Really good. Thank you. Thanks.
Well done. Good for you. So it's exciting just thinking about what's gonna be happening for you next and just exploring that. Maybe having a little bit of a break from all the busyness, because you didn't really. I mean, I know when we've had catch-ups over lockdown and stuff, some of us were kind of all working from home, but you were just kept going into work, didn't you? So you haven't really had the working from home phase or anything, have you?
No, I mean, you can't really serve coffee from home, so
yeah,
had to keep going in. But it feels like the right time to hand in, even though practically it's it doesn't. So it was a whole thing handing in my notice, because I was praying about it for ages, and I've been wanting to quit this job for ever since I got it. So because it's just not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what I wanted to do, so it was kind of just going to be a limbo job until I found out. I've been praying about it, and then I kept I just started to hate it, really hate it. And so I was on the phone to mum and dad, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was having another breakdown. I was like, I just don't want to do it. I just can't do it. I just want to quit. I'm going to do it. And then I didn't. And then that night I was praying about it, and I just had a massive cry, and I was I just something has to change. I just can't keep working here. I don't want to keep working here. I feel life is just happening, and I'm not living it, and I'm not doing anything, and I don't feel this is where I want to be or where I should be, or blah blah blah. So I was if this sounds, I know that I don't need mum and dad's permission to quit my job, but when you have your parents' approval sometimes, and it just makes you feel you can do it.
Well, sometimes hearing it from someone else is the confirmation from God kind of thing.
Yeah. And so I was just if mum and dad turned around and they were yeah, okay, well, like, we'll support you handing your notice in, this is a good idea. I was like, then I'll do it. And the next day they were like, Emma, we think you should hand your notice in. And I was like, oh, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So I wrote it and I was like, I'm out of it. And it just felt like, I felt so peaceful about it. And I was like, it's either a really stupid idea because we're in a pandemic and jobs are kind of hard to come by anyway, but they're even harder to come by now. So it's either a really stupid idea to like quit a job that was fairly steady, or like choose to see it as like a leap of faith, and that like you kind of have to step out of your comfort zone, and like, I don't know what's next, but I'm not going to wait for something to like be in place to then take the step of faith to quit. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, I'm just going to quit. God's going to bring something up, and I'm just excited to see what it is.
That's so exciting. And sometimes it takes us doing that for God to then be like, right, great, now you're in the position that I need you to be in to launch you into this kind of thing. That's so exciting. That leads me on to what I was going to say next. Like, I guess there's a bit of a theme maybe for you, that what God's been saying to you. What do you feel like God's been saying to you or doing for you during this time, as you're kind of going into a new season, I suppose, which is really exciting.
I feel like, I mean, it's basically just like trust that he's got something. And like, for ages I've been like, oh, I just really want to live a life of like faith, and like I want to get to the end of life and be like, I've got all these really cool faith stories that I just kind of, I feel like God says something, or I like think I've heard God say, go do this, go do that, and I want to go and do it, and I just want to see what happens. So I kind of feel like that this is like the first step of that, and it's just so exciting because I'm like, I literally have no idea what's going to happen for the rest of this year. So yeah, just trust that he's got it, and he's bigger than like worries. I'm trying not to worry about it because I'm like, and you shouldn't worry about it. So I'm not worrying about it, and I'm just gonna trust.
Yeah, that's so encouraging. It's really challenging as well, maybe for those people that are just like listening to this. Like, what is it that is going on in your life that maybe you need to? What's God saying to people to, step out of their comfort zone in that sense, or to, is there something that people need to change direction? Don't let the world circumstances be the reason that you're waiting for something else, or just holding on. Like, actually, maybe now is the time to reset, or to start something new, or to go with that new idea or that dream you've been going for. That's really encouraging. So how can the church be praying for you during this time?
Just for finding a job.
Yeah.
Every time I sit down to type something in, I'm like, I honestly have no idea what I'm looking for. So I go to type something in Google and I'm like, I don't know. So kind of just finding a job that would be glorifying, I guess. Yeah,
that'd be great. Just that it's where, what you think God's got in store for this next season or whatever. Use the term season because it's just like, could be a couple of months, could be years. I love that. Oh, thanks so much. And thank you everyone who's just tuned into this little catch up with Emma. I'm sure if anyone wants to drop you a message or anything just to see her getting on, you'll be open to that. You're on Facebook or whatever. And then hopefully you'll be back in Sheringham at some point to see everyone, which would be really nice. But thank you so much, Emma, and God bless you. And we hope to see you very soon.